Shock the system. Bulletcast for life.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice that you hear. Just in case if you don't, I'm the Podfather, also known as the African American Nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Bulletcast champion, and just like Kyle Riley, Bobby Fish, Roddy Strong, and Adam Cole Bebe, this title reign is hashtag forever undisputed. I'm joined by my tag team partner. He's been with me since day one-ish, creator of Under the Radar. Hell, he's a former Bulletcast champion himself, the Canadian Destroyer Brandon. How's it going, man?
The first ever Bulletcast champion.
First ever.
Never forget your first.
You never forget your first. Alright, so episode 109, we've been doing this for quite a while, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's get
back to our roots in this dingy community college room as people are yelling. Audio quality's probably terrible, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's... we gotta keep it short and simple. You know, sometimes...
Are they having a pizza party outside? I saw a lot of pizza there.
Newspaper publication, so... Yeah.
They throw a pizza party just for...
Tom usually just buys pizza, you know, to get people to stick around. It's that terrible Costco pizza, but you know.
Well, Costco pizza's not terrible.
I've almost died from it,
It's
so
better than Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is hot garbage.
I haven't had Pizza Hut in a very long time, so I wouldn't even know.
Anyways.
Alright, yes, back to this performance-enhancing audio. So, AEW potential schedule for the rest of the year. I was digging up some, not dirt, but I was going through the interwebs, and I found something that was interesting. I don't know if all this will actually happen, but let's see. May 25th, we have Double or Nothing, an unspecified show in June. July is going to be an unnamed show in Jacksonville.
It's Fight for the Fallen. It was somewhat announced on the American Nightmare YouTube channel. The countdown to Double or Nothing.
Oh, really? I haven't seen it.
I gotta stay on top of things.
All right, an anti-gun crime charity. That's what's going to happen. August, Royal Albert Hall in London. September, All Out, the sequel to All In. Fully launched ahead of TV tapings. October is when weekly TV is supposed to start. Tuesday Night Dynamite's the trademark name. So what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, they are supposed to be a full-fledged promotion, and if you're going to be a full-fledged promotion, you need to have a somewhat schedule. I mean, obviously, this is their first year, so we're not going to hold them to a high standard of putting out a bunch of shows. But I think this is kind of what they're going to be doing for the foreseeable future. Yes, once they get their TV show in order, they're going to have a weekly television show. But I think kind of like what NXT is right now, every quarter, about every 2 months, something like that, they'll have a big show. And I think that's probably about right for wrestling. I think every month for a pay-per-view, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the every month pay-per-view thing. I don't know. I've gotten so used to it with this WWE schedule. I think people complain that they're too long, and then when there was 2 a month for Raw and SmackDown, pay-per-views were a lot shorter. Maybe we should go back to that.
Yes, pay-per-views are too long. They only do it so they can brag to their their stockholders to say, oh, look, we have all these people watching so much content on the network. No, you're holding us hostage for 6 hours.
Whoa, they're not holding us hostage. We're choosing to watch.
Well, I mean, since we do podcasts, even though we're not getting paid, it's our duty to watch them, to review them, and talk about them. Even though on Raw and SmackDown, I'll be honest, I don't watch everything. But I watch it. I just fast forward through some stuff. I get the gist of most.
Did you fast forward this week?
Of course I did.
This week was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. We're gonna get to all that though. All right. So the new rumored couple is Andrade Cien Almas and Charlotte Flair. New power couple in WWE.
Good for them.
Shout out Almas. All right. The WWE Tag Team titles are quote unquote being redesigned. News broke a few months ago that they were gonna have custom side plates like all the other titles do, but apparently they're gonna get like a whole new revamp. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's about damn time they need to revamp those titles because those titles are hot garbage, especially back in the day their OG colorway when they used to be a penny, and then they just changed it up and made them maybe worse. I think it's debatable if they actually made them worse.
The blue and silver looks okay. I'm not gonna lie.
But anyways, I think if they were to redesign the belts, I wish they would just combine them and have one tag team division, since there can be one tag team division on for the women. I wish it was the same for the men. If anything, I just wish they would go back to like an old school one, kind of like what they did with the IC title. Just bring back an old design. It's perfectly fine. I don't know, like you call them like their official names, but like the Attitude Era ones, the ones the Hardys would wear back in the day. Those are fine.
Or even the Raw tag team titles from like 04, 05, stuff like I mean, stuff like that was fine. Yeah. Hopefully they look nice. I'm tired of terrible looking championships. All right,
I'm tired of so many championships.
That too. One tag team championship. All this other stuff. Let's get back to it.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna save this for a SmackDown recap, but I literally forgot that R-Truth was the U.S. champion.
What?
I'm be honest.
In Truth We Trust?
He hasn't been on TV in like a month since he won it.
Who's the SmackDown Women's Champion?
And he came out. The SmackDown is Asuka. They were supposed to announce her opponent for Fastlane on SmackDown, and then they either didn't, and then they just announced it on social media. And then on SmackDown, they announced, oh, the Usos are going to come out and do something, and then the Usos never came out.
It's very true. That is very true.
SmackDown's all over the place.
It is. All right, Pep Hamilton. He is the head of the Washington, D.C. team for the XFL. You know who this guy is?
No clue.
No clue?
I know I'm supposed to be the sports guy. I'll be honest. I follow XFL on Twitter, so I see like every Tuesday or whatever they put up like a live stream and they announce the coaches for these teams. But I have no idea who this Pep Hamilton guy is. I haven't done any research. That's your job. I'm just here to get rich. Do what I told and hope to get rich. Shout out Roman Reigns.
All right. So, Arn Anderson, Ty Dillinger, TJP, and Hideo Itami, Jesus, have officially been released from their WWE contracts. Ty, he hasn't been doing anything. I haven't seen anything about him since Randy Orton said that 10-ish really pisses him off. TJP, I don't watch 205 Live. Hideo, we knew about this. Arn was the one that really surprised me.
Well, yeah, I mean, Arn Anderson. It seems as though news has kind of come out over the weekend that maybe Arn was never really Vince McMahon's best friend. They got into some scuffles, and I think maybe they got into some altercation last week or, recently to where it might have put Vince over the edge and released him. And a lot of wrestlers coming out on Twitter and Instagram in support of Arn Anderson. So it kind of shows that he was a popular figure in the locker room, and it only takes one person to not like him. And if it's Vince McMahon, then you're screwed.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like Arn had been with the company for God knows how long, being a road agent and helping to put matches together and stuff.
I mean, he's been with a major company for damn near 35 years.
Yeah, he's always been there, whether it was NWA, WCW, WWE, behind the scenes. I think that what the last thing Arn did was hit a spine buster on my boy DZ at a Starrcade.
In Cincinnati, because when you think of Starrcade, you think of Cincinnati.
That spine buster still looks pretty nice.
It's going to look a lot better when it's at Double or Nothing.
Yes, well, WWE did hire somebody else. Brother Love, Bruce Prichard, is back in the fold.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of dusted himself off and got up after his doing his podcast with Conrad Tops. So shout out Conrad for helping out Bruce Prichard. I think Bruce
hey now.
Always kind of wanted to get back into the fold of wrestling in WWE. And it is interesting, like Arn Anderson wasn't the biggest fan of Vince McMahon, Vince was the biggest fan of Arn Anderson, and Bruce Prichard has a history of being a yes man and a stooge for Vince McMahon.
I don't know necessarily he's a stooge.
I mean, Vince McMahon.
Do you listen to Something to Wrestle With?
Yes, I do.
I mean, yeah, listen to the stories. I don't think he was a stooge. I mean, he was Vince's right-hand guy when it was just him, Vince, and Pat Patterson doing creative back in the late 80s, and then getting all these creative teams and P.S. Hayes coming in, and then him being the guy Vince would call at like 3 a.m. Well, goddamn, pal, what the hell's going on with Superstars? Stuff like that. I don't think he was a stooge. I think it was more of the guy who was like, Vince would throw out an idea, and Bruce Prichard would be like, okay, what if we did this?
I think it's... Oh, that's a great idea, Vince. We should do that. I think that's more of what his role was.
I don't see it like that. Pat Patterson taught him about the what if with Vince to get Vince to shy away from some really, ridiculous, outlandish stuff, you know.
Bruce Prichard has not made enemies, but has maybe not the best of friends with Triple H and Stephanie. So with Vince, maybe kind of seeing that he's not in touch the way he used to be, seeing that he's not getting pushed out of the company, but maybe people are trying to look at him like, okay, maybe we should be looking in a different direction. Vince kind of taking some of his old cohorts and kind of putting more of his team around him that he's more comfortable with, like Bruce Prichard, and taking out Arn Anderson. So maybe not a change of the guard, you might say, but maybe Vince kind of trying to protect his turf a little bit more.
When exactly did he get rehired?
Bruce Prichard?
Yeah.
Like Arn Anderson apparently got released. The news came out like Thursday night, and then like that Saturday or Friday night. I think it was like Friday night, Saturday is when the news came out about Bruce Prichard. So it's almost kind of back to back.
And then we see what happened at Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if Prichard had anything to do with it. There were some segments that felt Pritchardy, so to speak, and then again, I could be giving Prichard credit for stuff he had nothing to do with. So I mean, we're gonna get into Raw and SmackDown, but I'm glad to see Bruce Prichard back. I love something to wrestle with, get behind the scenes knowledge about some of the hottest eras in wrestling, and then some pay-per-views and moments where you're like, what the hell was that? Why did they put that on TV? Like Unforgiven 2008, the championship scrambles. That was a fun listen. But yeah, congratulations, Bruce Prichard. All right, Total Divas, Lana out, Ronda in. So Lana and Rusev will not be returning to Total Divas. I know this is your thing, huh?
It is my thing. It is a shame if Lana is not a part of Total Divas anymore. I mean, iconic moments in Total Divas history: Lana throwing a shot put through Natty's window. Or through Jim Neidhart's window. Just an iconic moment in Total Divas history. And I don't know what's going on with Lana. She's like doing some salty gimmick on Twitter and YouTube to where she cuts these like kind of cringeworthy promos and she's like shooting brother on Ronda Rousey. And if Ronda Rousey is a part of Total Divas, it is not really her style. I mean, the whole Total Divas thing is kind of anti-women's revolution, you might say, even though on Total Divas and Total Bellas they are playing up this whole it's a new era for women, but we haven't seen Charlotte or Becky or any of the four horsewomen be on this show. And now that we get, I mean, let's be honest, most of the women that have been on Total Divas have been quote-unquote divas for the most part. I'm trying to think, like maybe Nia Jax, but even Nia Jax is a model, and like none of like the wrestlers that everyone loves isn't on the show, so I mean, she's a big name, so obviously it makes sense for if she's willing to do it, of why you would want her to get on there. It's just, especially with Total Divas viewership and ratings kind of going down recently.
I'm surprised this show has lasted this long. I really am.
Mean, it's just, I think it brings in a completely different audience than what WWE is for Raw and SmackDown. So I mean, there is some sort of crossover because, like, obviously I watch it, and maybe some other people hate watch it. So, yeah. It's not for wrestling fans.
We shall see. When it first aired, I was all over it. Eva Marie was there, JoJo was there. I'm like, oh, wow.
Where is JoJo? JoJo has been MIA for, like, months.
She really has. Bray, you got her at, is she hanging out with Sister Abigail? Is that what's going on? You bring her back to us now. Alright, speaking of Total Divas, Nikki Bella wins Best Actress in a Reality Series for being in Total Divas. What?
I don't know. I mean, first she wins this award, and next thing you know, she's going to win an Emmy.
Best Actress in a Reality Series? Are you telling me Lana throwing this... What did she throw through the window?
A shot put.
Shot put? You tell me that was acting? It was a prop car?
Well, I don't know if it was a prop car. Something went through a window.
All these trips to Tahoe aren't real?
They're real, damn it. It's still real to me, damn it.
God. Then what the hell are we doing here, man? Alright. Honky Tonk Man is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Good for him. I mean, he said a lot of bad, nasty things about WWE and WWE people on shoot interviews and, his entire career after WWE. I mean, When's like the last time we've seen him in WWE? I mean, the last iconic one we think of is the Royal Rumble 2001.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's kind of those last holdouts from the '80s that people think of as like someone who deserves to be in there. So I have no problem with this, and maybe this means Jeff Jarrett got his feud with Elias this year. So next year, the Royal Rumble, it's gonna be Elias versus the Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, nobody wants to see that. The last couple years, you could have seen Honky Tonk Man at Big Time Trash in Newark, California. Buddy over there with those guys. All right, inside of the ring, Mad Mikey Nicholas, a.k.a. Nick Miller, joins Chaos.
Good for him, I guess.
Oh, have the mighty have fallen.
I see what you did there. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good for. I don't exactly know what to say. I mean, good for him. He was in NXT and now he's in New Japan and part of Chaos. So
We shall see. All right.
New Jay White, maybe.
I don't know about all that. Jay White's a immense talent. All right, this day in wrestling, Mae Young gives birth to a hand 19 years ago today.
Man, I can't believe that hand is 19. Even though when it was on Raw 1000, he looked a little older than whatever that was, like 14 or 13 he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome,
He
man.
grew up so fast. I hope he's, doing well in college.
Exactly, man. I think he goes to Stanford. That's what I heard.
Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah.
He's been through some things.
He has, his mother's a Hall of Famer. That's
His mother passed away. I mean, and we don't even know who his dad is, so he's probably just all alone out there in the world.
I hear Jamie Noble.
Jamie Noble takes care of him.
I hear that's the papa.
Huh. I mean, Jamie Noble has a nice steady job in WWE, so good for old Daddy Jamie.
Good for him, yes. All right, Norman Smiley, trainer over at the Performance Center. He's 54 years old today. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is 66. Responsible for probably the greatest trilogy in wrestling history. Him and Flair going at it in 1989. 30 years ago. We might have to do some watch-alongs for some of those. I think the Chi-Town Rumble. Yeah? Sound like a plan?
Maybe. I mean, it was nice to see Ricky Steamboat on Raw. You got a nice little reception from the Atlanta crowd. Norman Smiley, I mean, I was listening to the Starrcade 98, 83 Weeks podcast with Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff. And he talked about how he wished that he did a lot more with Norman Smiley.
Okay.
He thought Norman Smiley was very underutilized in his time in WCW. So
I can understand that. Norman Smiley seems like a stand-up guy. I hear he does great work at the Performance Center, so, shout out Norman. Happy birthday, buddy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get some fan mail real quick. Hootie Hoo 420.
Hootie Hoo.
Who is not worthy of being in the WWE Hall of Fame? That entire celebrity wing? Hillbilly Jim, Coco Beware? Take your pick. Take your pick.
45. That's all I'll say.
Oh, yeah. I think that guy's a tad bit more racist than Hulk Hogan. Just gonna say that. All right. Jack of all trades. Are you guys fans of the Superstar Shakeup and how it operates?
I mean, with the Superstar Shakeup, we're going to have to see how it goes right now because there's already, with all these NXT talents coming up, they're already blending the line between the actual, divide of Raw and SmackDown. So they're already starting to kind of shift a little bit with not having a hard and fast roster. They still have it. I mean, this whole Charlotte, Becky, Ronda situation, the Raw Women's Championship match is involving 2 SmackDown wrestlers.
That's very true.
But, I mean, going forward, who knows what the actual split's going to be, but I think the Superstar Shakeup happening every year, it's nice to have some sort of shakeup. Most of the people stay like, an AJ or the top tier people, then like one person will jump ship, so then it shakes things up a little bit, but not too much.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a fan of the draft lottery. I really was, because, people just showing up. It's like, what, I think it's convoluted. Like, I was at that one, did they have a Superstar Shakeup in 2017? Did they have one of those?
2017 was the first year they did this. So that was
I was at that Payback with the House of Horrors match, and it was just really convoluted. And then last year you had Joe go to SmackDown, but he was still feuding with Roman on Raw. It's really convoluted. The draft lottery. Which draft did you like better? The randomized one on the screen, or we draft so and so as the number 3rd pick? Which one did you like better?
Well, I think the randomized draft was during my dark days of not watching wrestling, but in theory, I'm more of a sports guy, so I think I would much rather like the step in front of the podium, a real life draft where they pick it. I mean, one of the things with the Superstar Shakeup is like the the system isn't quite like
Clear?
explained, and it's
Yeah.
not clear enough to where, as you said, like we'll see Raw, somebody will just show up from SmackDown, but then someone we saw wrestle on Raw is going to show up on SmackDown, and it's like not. I think if there was like you can have so much fun with this to where you can have like something on WWE.com and you have like just trades. You can like have people like go crazy and be like, oh, they traded the Usos for Liv Morgan or that's not even. Yeah, Usos and Liv Morgan.
Usos for the
For
revival.
the Riot Squad or whatever. You can mix and match and see like, okay, did SmackDown or Raw get a fair trade, since you can actually like put them up against each other and see
Yeah.
who got what for what.
Throw that on the WWE YouTube channel. I know they get millions of views like that. That'd be fun, man. Hopefully they go back to something like that, or maybe with the Superstar Shakeup, they'll have actual trades or something.
But it doesn't make any sense for the Superstar Shakeup now. Like even now for top tier brass, they say the entire the McMahons are taking back the company or whatever. So there's no, there's no GMs, there's no Page, there's no Kurt Angle. So how are we supposed to know what's a fair trade and what's not, and how this actually would work when it happens in April?
I don't know. I'm not sure. We shall see. All right, Blue Rhino. Who gets Daniel at Mania?
Well, we can get into that when we talk about SmackDown.
Hey now. All right, let's get into the Raw recap. The big dog is back. Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i makes his return to Monday Night Raw. Cheered all the way, as he should be.
As he should be.
As he should be.
At least wait a week before you're a complete a-hole.
Oh my god. Look, he took his time embracing the fans. It was like a 21-minute segment, but I didn't care. I watched the whole thing, Roman just going off script a little bit, ad-libbing, saying how happy he is to be back. He was thanking all the fans. He was saying God's voicemail box was full up there from all the prayers that he was getting, and the cancer was in remission. I'm excited, man.
He kind of buried the lead there. He waited 20 minutes to finally say that his cancer's in remission.
But he got a huge pop for it. It's okay.
He finally got around to it. As you said, he said like he ad-libbed. I'm not gonna make it too big of a deal out of this because I kind of knew where he was coming from, saying that I was expecting to talk about this, but then this happened, so I'm gonna ad-lib a little bit. But it did feel kind of like, okay, everything I was gonna say was all scripted and phony, you might say, and now I'm going ad-lib. But anyways, I'm gonna not talk too much about that. But as you said, it was a very nice moment. Being real from the heart, he kind of milked the moment a lot. And, I think we all kind of thought it was going to be good news. But there's always just kind of a creep in your, especially when he was, like, hugging his mom and his wife, whatever, for a long time. It's like, okay, maybe something might be up, but you see, like, he's in good shape. He shouldn't be... I don't know about cancer or anything, how it works, but you would think that he would be in a little worse shape if he was going to announce that he has to retire or something like that.
Yeah, he looked a little bigger, huh?
Yeah, we didn't see him in his gear or whatever, but he looked like we normally see Roman Reigns. So, shout out to him. He's kind of like pushing the reset button right now on Roman Reigns, but it's going to be interesting going forward how this works. They put they put Seth Rollins and Roman together a little bit, and it kind of like made me think like maybe once the Superstar Shakeup happens, they should split them apart and have Raw and SmackDown have one of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you have Raw and if you have Roman and Rollins kind of together, they kind of might. I think Roman might overshadow Rollins if if he gets involved somewhat in this match at WrestleMania. So
True.
We're gonna have to see going forward what happens with Roman, because it seems as though he's healthy enough, and it seems like there's rumors out there that he's gonna have like at least a full-time TV schedule. He's gonna be on all the Raws. So. It looks as though he's going to have a match at WrestleMania, possibly against Baron Corbin. Possibly he's going to tear the house down like somebody said he would. But
I was thinking about that the other day.
But it's good to see Roman Reigns back. And also on another note, this has nothing to do with Roman, but he has like a new shirt that has the whatever, basically like the cancer symbol of his logo.
Yeah.
And like those T-shirts, they're selling like fight against cancer, or whatever, and yet the proceeds doesn't go, as much as I've seen, don't go to any cancer foundation. Just completely WWE eating all the profits, which is not a good look.
I haven't looked into that. I'm going to get back to the whole cancer thing. People have been on Twitter and Instagram saying, "Oh, this was a work. This was the biggest."
Don't give them any attention.
Yeah, I know. People were saying that, and then your boy Kenny Omega got some heat. because he was, I guess, live streaming him playing a video game during this time. And then I saw people on Twitter like, Kenny, there are more important things going on right now. Yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, Kenny took to Twitter and saying, but the biggest win of all was Roman beating cancer and all that other stuff. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's stupid for people to get angry at Kenny Omega for playing a video game at 8 o'clock at night because they think the entire world revolves around WWE. Newsflash, it doesn't. Especially like the other people, other wrestlers, God forbid they don't have to watch every single wrestling promotion in the world, even if it is WWE and something really big out there. I mean, it's the age of the internet. If something big news happens, if we know Roman is going to say something, if I don't want to watch it, I can just check Twitter 30 minutes after the show starts and just see what happens. So, I mean, I think just if I didn't see Kenny get any heat on my timeline, but whatever that is, it's completely stupid. Anybody saying that this is a work, I'm going to tell them just shut up right now, because I wouldn't believe that they would do something like that. I know WWE has done some terrible things in the past, but I think this would be by far the worst thing they've ever done to to work everybody, and especially Roman, if he's like making his family work everyone and say all these things. I mean, Roman hasn't exactly gone on record to say what exactly his treatment was, and that's private. If he wants to talk about what exactly he was doing to get better and to beat cancer, that's completely up to him. I'm not going to pester him for it, but it is not suspicious, but it is kind of weird that they're just kind of leaving everybody in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, if he wants to share it, he'll share it. But we got to move on to some other news. So Monday, the 70th birthday celebration for a man who's styling and profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing. The 21-time, I'm going to say the real number, 21-time World Heavyweight Champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. All the current stars were on the stage. You had Sting in the ring. You had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. You had Shawn. You had Stephanie. You had Hunter. Stephanie revealed this beautiful championship made for Ric Flair. That's the closest we're ever going to see to the big gold back on Monday Night Raw. I'm going to tell you that right now. All this was great. Earlier in the night we see Flair get out of the limo with his wife Wendy. And he's strutting, he's doing his damn thing. Flair doesn't make it to the ring. Instead, we see somebody drag a cameraman into Flair's locker room. Guy shuts the door, beats up Flair. Then he just starts dragging Flair on the ground. And then who is it? It's Dave Batista. And he says, "Do I have your attention now, Hunter?" Because, Batista's been saying for years he'd only come back to WWE if he had a program with Hunter. Because, Batista's 3-0 against Hunter. He wanted to give Hunter the win back. And all this stuff, like they stopped returning his calls at one point. They kept saying, "Oh yeah, we'll think about it." And I thought this was perfect. I really did.
I mean, I really did like this segment. I thought this episode of Raw kind of felt like the first time. It felt like a road to WrestleMania Raw. It was like
like Bruce Prichard, huh?
Oh yeah, it's all brother love. Like every single segment for the most part, there was some filler in there, but it's a 3-hour show. You can't have everything be fantastic. But we had the big dog coming back. We had the Batista return, and then everything else just kind of like there were so many big angles on this show that it kind of was like, okay, we are in the WrestleMania season. And with Raw not having an overrun, it was kind of suspicious. Like, they were running the video package of Ric Flair's career with like 4 minutes left. It was like, okay, I know they're going to go for a hard ending at 11 o'clock, so they're going to have to do something here. And we all thought it was going to be Becky. Becky wasn't there, which we will get into in a little bit later, but it did kind of telegraph that something was going to happen. And, the little touch of Batista dragging the cameraman and the other cameraman filming him do that, and then they cut to the other cameraman, and then he goes in the locker room, shuts the door because obviously we can't see Ric Flair getting his ass beat because he's 70. We don't want to have a heart attack. But I thought just like little things like that, the intensity of Batista, the return of Blue Tista with the blue nose ring and the blue tinted glasses was a nice touch for him. And
that drip is too hard right now.
I mean, it was a really good segment, and
it's fun.
When we talked about the SmackDown 1000 when they had the Evolution return, I wasn't too excited for this match, but now that it's Batista as a heel against Hunter as a babyface, it is a little bit more exciting just because finally the roles have been reversed, because all that time Batista was the face, and I think Batista coming back, I wouldn't know if I'd say motivated, but maybe like intrigued to kind of have like a full-fledged run that he didn't have 4 or 5 years ago when he was supposed to be a face and he got booed in the whole Daniel Bryan situation. I think now he's kind of in his, in his slot that he wants to be, and he might have a little more creative freedom and he can do some things. And the match itself at WrestleMania is probably not going to be that good. It's going to be kind of maybe not reminiscent of Sting and Triple H, but there's going to be a lot of bells and whistles, I think, and it's going to probably be a no DQ match, and maybe we get like Ric Flair putting Batista in a figure four or something and getting his heat back. But
dude, I feel like Flair would have bladed to sell it more, but obviously you can't do that on TV.
I was waiting for it. I mean, he was red as all get up.
Apparently, for that 30 for 30, there was a scene of. It didn't air, but it was a scene of him blading and showing how to blade, and they just cut all that. So gotta try to find that footage somewhere. That sounds interesting.
I mean, if you watch the Secrets of Pro Wrestling, you would know how to do it.
I mean,
they just completely exposed the business.
Those bastards.
We're also smart because of that program.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Shout out to the stunt granny.
Flair can't do much, but I think this was good enough for him. I know he was probably ecstatic to be a part of the storyline like this, so it was fun. I can't wait to see what happens next week. Moving on from that, Drew McIntyre has a no disqualification match with Dean Ambrose and beats him. Dean Ambrose, smart man, wearing 2 belts to the ring. One so he can hold up his trousers, and the other one so he can just eviscerate the back and chest of Drew McIntyre.
It was a much more competitive match than the one they had a week ago. I was thinking, as I predicted, I was like, okay, Drew won last week, and now Dean Ambrose is going to win this week, because that's exactly what happened with the EC3 feud. But no, Drew gets the win again. The heels come out, they destroy Dean, and then we get the return of the big dog. Hitting some Superman punches in a spear, and Seth Rollins coming out there and, leaving the door open for a Shield reunion. It seems as though they're just kind of hitting, the reset button on this whole Dean Ambrose heel turn. Maybe it's because of the Roman Reigns situation. Maybe it's because he's gone and they're just like, okay, this heel turn sucks. We're just going to turn him face and we're going to get something out of him before he leaves. So we're going to do some sort of Shield reunion. But they're kind of keeping the door open. Not a full-fledged reunion quite yet. Maybe something at Fastlane. Maybe something at WrestleMania. But I think definitely we're going to see the Shield get back together before Dean leaves.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple things that were like, what, really? I mean, he comes out with his face music, and then when he interrupted Elias, hits him with a dirty deeds, leaves with the heel music. But going back to the match, it was good. Those those buttons are probably right next to each other. It probably just says Dean Ambrose A, Dean Ambrose B. So then maybe Kevin Dunn thought it was like 1997 again and thought that it was like Mankind, having entrance and exit music. Maybe he was having Kevin
flashbacks
Dunn.
or something.
Yeah, the match was cool. Them whipping each other with the belt. Dean going to town. I'm like, oh my god, this is vicious. I love it. But do we need the Shield to come back again? Apparently it was Dean's choice not to stand by his brothers on Monday night, so I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see.
I don't know if we're gonna get a full-fledged reunion to where we get like a feud between McIntyre, Corbin, and Lashley, but I think we're gonna get like a moment or something at WrestleMania or something, just because. I mean, what is Dean Ambrose actually doing? I mean, are we gonna? I mean, if Seth is gonna face Brock, that's perfectly fine, and then if we get like Dean and Roman going up against Corbin and Drew McIntyre or whatever, whatever the duo is to go up against them, I think that's perfectly fine. You have Dean do a lot of the work if Roman isn't completely in ring shape by then. He can get his feet wet, but not have to be trusted to have a full-fledged match.
True. Or
he can just tear the house down with Baron Corbin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because he's fully capable of that.
Yes, give me 4 hot minutes, tear the house down with Corbin, and go home.
Yep, and then I'll eat my hat.
Do you remember which hat it's supposed to be?
I don't know, but I'll watch the tape.
All right.
I'll go up on the YouTube. Every single episode we got is up on the YouTube.
Yes, every single episode of this Black Power ranking, Under the Radar, Top 5, bonus pods, instant analyses, all that is archived. God, that's a lot of podcasting, man.
We've only been doing it for a year and a half.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
2
years down.
3 years down.
2 years down.
10 years down.
Oh my God, that's gonna be the one. All right, so Ronda Rousey gives an ultimatum. So Becky Lynch makes her way to the ring during a tag match between Rousey, Natalya, and the Riot Squad. The security guard actually tried to stop her, but it didn't happen. and Becky just starts going to town, and she gets arrested.
Yeah, I mean, they keep trying to put Becky Lynch in the Stone Cold category, and she's getting arrested. I thought it was fine for what it was. I thought she showed good intensity. I thought her ad-libbing, talking to the cops running when she was getting arrested was a nice touch.
You know what's the best part? She got arrested and didn't get out of jail the same night.
I mean, that's all. I mean, we all kind of thought that was going to happen, that she was going to make a comeback,
But she didn't.
because that's what happens.
Yeah, and
Because she's on here on a working visa. She's not a citizen. It's just a whole lot of paperwork for her to come out compared to if it's a Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's a lot harder.
Compared to that one night the Shield got arrested on Memorial Day and got out the same night.
Yeah, but they're citizens, so it's a lot easier for them.
Still on a holiday,
less paperwork,
and they were on the East Coast. You're kidding me?
Maybe they knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody.
Okay,
but Becky being an immigrant from Ireland, she just doesn't get the same slack.
She doesn't get the same slack. Anyway, Ronda calls Vince out, and Stephanie McMahon comes out there, and Ronda's like, too wordy of a promo. She speaks too fast. She gets that mush mouth. Anyway, she said, "I'm the Raw Women's Champion. You don't own me without this big match. It's just a belt. It's just a belt. It's a title, and all that other stuff."
It's a strap.
Oh my God! Hey now, yeah, and then
I just said strap.
Yes.
I didn't say something else.
You can't be calling it a strap, man. It's a title, like the Bullet Cast title. Is that my humble abode?
It's a belt, a strap.
Whoa! It's not a belt. A belt holds up your pants.
It goes around your waist.
You try putting the Bullet Cast title through the loops of your jeans.
Video coming soon.
No, let's not do that. Yeah, then she just lays down the Raw Women's Championship and walks away. Stephanie McMahon will be the new Raw Women's Champion.
I mean, I think she is. She's definitely the interim champion right now.
Dude, we should have interim champions in WWE. That'd be cool. That'd be fun.
I mean, I don't know exactly what the legality of that is, just because we never had interim champions in wrestling before, at least in WWE. So.
I mean, Brock's got enough. We could have some.
Possibly, but
yes.
As you said, it was kind of a mushmouth promo from Ronda Rousey. It's kind of her MO. She gets all amped and gets all worked up, which is a positive to where she shows real emotion, but then it's also the scripting word for word things. And, going backstage and talking over a promo is a lot different than when you get out there in front of 12,000 people and you're amped and you're trying to show intensity and trying to remember every single line, and maybe it doesn't have the same exact flow. So yeah, it was kind of a clunky promo to say, but I thought overall it was kind of good delivery. But they are, as I've said in the past, they're kind of forming Becky Lynch and Ronda as the faces and having Charlotte be the heel. And I think Vince McMahon was the happiest he's been in a while, because he was able to get the crowd to chant triple threat. I think that's all he wanted was. I mean, Becky Lynch is kind of the number one person in the company, getting like the biggest push. And yes, she's getting a big push, but we want it to be a one-on-one match, not a triple threat. But Vince was dead set on having this triple threat match, and with the crowd chanting triple threat very loudly, I might add, definitely in his mind cements that he made the right decision.
I mean, sure. Okay, I can see your point. Vince sitting in his big chair. Ha ha! I got him, or whatever. But here's my deal.
Well, you're the one from the beginning said that it should be a triple threat match.
I know. You see?
So yeah, you're against me. You're on my side,
dude. Look, I called the headquarters. Did you listen to that one top 5? I literally called WWE headquarters on the podcast.
And then how did that go?
It went nice. You see where we are now, don't you? See where the story is now?
Yeah, we're in a worse position than we used to be.
Well, I'm saying, do you see where
TV studio, and now we're in some dingy
I'm saying,
college room.
Do you see where the storyline is now? Triple threat.
That's not what we want.
Look. This is what I said. Ronda, she's here for a good time, not a long time. All right. Charlotte, she can always say she was in the first ever women's main event. Becky can tap out Ronda, and Ronda Rousey, we don't need to see her until Royal Rumble 2020.
But that's the thing is, I'm afraid Ronda isn't going to be the one losing. It's going to be Charlotte losing.
Dude, look, Ronda can take the loss, and she can go hide for a year.
Have a baby.
Yes, exactly. Let's call back to when Holly Holm kicked her in the head and took that bantamweight championship from her. She needs to go hide.
I don't think Ronda does not like recalling those losses.
Okay, we're not to go back to. I'm saying she loses a championship. She's distraught. She leaves. In the meantime, she might have a baby. 9 months pregnancy, 3 months to recover, yada yada yada. Look, possibly we could see her back in the Women's Royal Rumble entrant 30.
Or we just never see her again.
I don't. I think Ronda will be back.
They always come back, but she said. Might help if I unmute my microphone. But anyways, as you might have heard me say on Phyllis' microphone, that as she said against Stephanie McMahon, that she's not one of those people that doesn't have a life outside of wrestling, and you don't own her. Which I thought was a very line of the night from Ronda. Besides the Roman Reigns promo, that was the best line I've heard a wrestler say in a while. Because as we've seen in the past, the WWE likes to castrate their wrestlers, especially the poor old Big Show in that storyline they had a few years ago, to where he made some bad investments, and now, against his will, he had to work for the Authority.
Oh yeah, didn't he have to knock out Dusty Rhodes?
Yeah, and that was the last time we ever saw Dusty Rhodes.
Dude, hey, don't speak like that.
He puts a hand in Stephanie's face, and after that, he's never seen again.
I mean, that wasn't the last time you ever saw Dusty Rhodes, but I get what you're saying on main roster television.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Dusty Rhodes Classic, absolutely stacked this year.
Yes, the American Dream. Let me stop. All right.
DIY and Undisputed Era in the first round. I mean, do I need to say
really?
More? Do I need to say more?
Strong and O'Reilly?
We got Red Dragon back together.
What?
Red Dragon is back together.
I gotta start watching NXT now, man. I'm excited for that. All right, Aleister Black and Ricochet defeat the Revival. The Revival won the tag titles, 3 weeks ago?
And they've lost their last 2 matches.
What? The DIY loss, I can understand that DIY used to be a tag team. Revival hasn't faced them in a long time. I can understand that one. But the Dutch Destroyer and Ricochet, really?
Well, they are kind of a tag team now in NXT. They are in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I don't know if that has to do with WWE storyline or with their own direction that they were going. They were kind of teasing it a couple weeks ago, and now I think they're kind of being more of a tag team. But I agree with you that I think they should be better. They would be better as a singles act.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're kind of like. God damn it! Yeah, but anyway.
Oh my goodness!
Well, I'm sorry. There's just so many people in the other room being so loud. I do not want them to be on this podcast. They're being so loud and yelling about God knows what.
Yeah,
it's probably laced. That pizza's laced with something. They're very loud.
Tom Lace's Pizza. Gee, my God! I have to edit that out now.
No one listens to this show.
What? We get listeners, man.
We do.
We get listeners.
But anyway,
in Watsonville, we get those listeners.
Ricochet and Aleister Black. I think they are kind of a tag team, but I would like them to be in a singles act. Individually. The Revival, who knows what the hell they're doing. They wanted to release. They're almost getting jobbed out like they're getting released, but then they're the tag team champions, so what the hell are you doing with them? That's why we should just put them together and have one tag team division, so we don't need to see this on both shows. But I guess it's a good sign that Ricochet and Aleister Black are winning, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm pretty sure by the time we get to WrestleMania, they're going to have at least a couple losses on their resume.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting. I wish the Revival would win. I really do. Get one set of tag titles. Enough with all this foolery. If the Revival what if the Revival lose the titles at Mania?
I mean, since it doesn't look like we're going to get McMiz being the champions again, I'm all for having a unification match at WrestleMania. 10 years later...
I think we're going somewhere else with those SmackDown tag titles. I'm going to get into that on SmackDown. No. But 10 years later, what?
10 years later, after they originally unified them, or 9 years later at 26, do it again at 35.
And then just walk around with 2 belts.
Yep.
Championships, titles. Jeez.
Yep.
You got me saying belt now.
Yep, because that's what they are. They're belts.
Titles. All right.
Championships is acceptable. Championships is, very prestigious.
All right. Kurt Angle defeats my boy Jinder Mahal.
Good of Kurt Angle, I guess, just nonchalantly walking around backstage with his gear on, even though he was only supposed to be there for Ric Flair's birthday.
Hey man,
So, I mean,
you never know. You never know when you got to go out there.
I mean, you always got to carry your gear with you, but I guess he always wears his gear, and underneath his suit, he just tore it off like he's in a basketball game, and he just came to the ring, and not only did he eat one angle slam, he ate another one later on top of the cake.
Yes. All right. Finn Balor defends the Intercontinental Championship against Lio Rush, successfully retains. But before that, Finn Balor was on a moment of bliss, and Alexa said, it's a shame that Intercontinental title covers up your abs. Alexa said, if you show me your abs, I'll show you my. And then Lio Rush comes out there.
And Corey Graves lost his mind.
Yes, because, she's a goddess. I'd lose my mind also. What are your thoughts on that?
On what? There's a lot of moving parts there.
The Moment of Bliss segment and then the match.
Okay, so the Moment of Bliss part, I mean, it was... I didn't like them, framing Finn Balor barely beating Lio Rush as him beating Lio Rush as a gutsy performance, because Lio Rush has not been anything on the main roster. He's basically been considered a joke, and having Finn Balor barely beat him, or being framed as barely beating him, is not a good look for him. The whole Finn Balor Alexa Bliss thing, I mean, we've seen Alexa Bliss flirt with EC3, now she's flirted with Finn Balor. We saw her do the whole naked thing in her room, and apparently the thing in her room was like her idea. So I don't know what Alexa Bliss's gimmick is now. I mean, we haven't really seen her wrestle, the last 3-4 months. So if she's gonna be a sex pot, I love Alexa Bliss. If she wants to be a sex pot, I'm all for it. But I thought they were trying to move away from that.
I don't know. We're getting in these angles now. Of course, Mandy and Naomi, that whole thing. But I don't know, man. It's interesting to see where Alexa's gonna go. Where do they really start to go there now? I
mean, if she doesn't want to wrestle, I love Alexa Bliss, but she's not the best wrestler in the world.
How dare you?
If she wants to be a valet, she's a great talker. I think her being just a snotty little brat to everybody on the roster. If she's a valet, we get to see Alexa Bliss 2 or 3 times on a show instead of just once. So if she's on, we can get it back to the 80s. We have Lio Rush. We have a Lio Rush and Alexa Bliss feud going forward with them running the factions. Get faction warfare again.
Okay. I could understand that, I really could, Get Alexa Bliss to be the valet for this podcast. Let her be the Bullet Babe.
There's only one Bullet Babe.
Okay.
But she's not the Bullet Babe anymore. She's actually on Women of Wrestling. I've watched that occasionally.
So
shout out Tessa Blanchard, the new champion.
We could take that name.
I mean, apparently you trademarked the name, so.
I have trademarked a lot of stuff.
So, good for you.
Yes. Canadian Destroyer. I own that.
Okay. You gonna cease and desist Petey Williams?
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Okay.
Podfather, I own that now too.
Alright.
That's what's going down. Alright, moving on from all that. Braun Strowman destroys Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. Yeah.
It was supposed to be a match, and yet the match kind of started, but it never officially started, and then Braun Strowman just walks away, and there you go.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-tootin'-lutely. Bayley defeats Nia Jax.
I guess a big win for Bayley. I don't know exactly where they're going with this match. I mean, I think it's just going to be straightforward. And Bayley and Sasha Banks appeared on NXT this week, so
they did,
cementing that they are going to be traveling champions and defend them on all 3 brands. But NXT, they did kind of show Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne as kind of a tag team. We have the 3 horsewomen.
Vanessa Bourne, I'm a fan.
Yeah, she showed up on NXT a few weeks ago, and now she's kind of a manager or teaming with Aaliyah, the person that was on WWE, Breaking Ground. Breaking Ground. When that first happened,
2015. Yeah,
and
they should bring that back.
And she's gone through 4 or 5 gimmick changes since then.
Is she still the kind of Bollywood princess?
She used to be a cat lady. Then she was a Bollywood princess, and now she used to be a Versace queen, and then she did something else, and then now she's back to being the Versace queen.
Just be the Bollywood princess.
No, she's dripped in Versace now.
Oh, Versace.
Yes.
Yes, Donatella does not like to say Versace.
Shout out, amigos.
Yes, yes, yes. You gotta give me some Versace, you know, if I can ever afford anything in that store. I think the cheapest thing is like $450.
You know, you got to go to the Livermore outlets. It's a little inside baseball, but just got to go to the Livermore outlets. They got the Versace store. Yes, it is still expensive, but it's not as expensive
Okay.
if you go to the retail store.
Okay, okay. Good tip, good tip.
You can get some stuff for like $100 something.
All right, Smackdown Live. So there's gonna be a contract signing with the new Daniel Bryan with Rowan and his eco-friendly WWE Championship.
As he sits in a leather chair.
Yes, I like how they said as you sit in this leather chair, he kind of looked like he had that look on his face. I enjoyed that.
Like, thanks for telling everybody I don't want to be here, but I have to be.
Subtle storytelling. I enjoy that. New Day's out there. Kofi's about to sign on the dotted line. That's Stephanie and Shane are in the ring. And then Vince's music hits. The big boss comes out and he says, "Kofi, I've appreciated what you've been doing for the past 11 years, but you're being replaced by Kevin Owens." And then KO, I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked. KO looks a little thinner, looks a little slimmer. New tattoos. He comes out there, walks right past New Day, signs, and then just sits in the chair and stares at Daniel Bryan. Daniel really just no-selling everything, maybe a slight little smirk, and that's it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Kofi, as soon as he heard Vince McMahon's music, should just automatically sign the paperwork because we all know if you sign a contract, it's it's official. There's nothing you can do about it legally. I mean, whatever it was, like Hulk Hogan signed a contract with blood on it or something. So that apparently that counts. But I think the only way that WWE can book baby faces now is they give them a match, Vince McMahon takes it away from them, and then they insert them into a match later on. So this is basically the exact same storyline with Becky Lynch. Kevin Owens coming back was a surprise. He was a babyface on this show for the most part, so we're gonna have to see going forward. I'm intrigued to what they do. I think they're just going to a triple threat at WrestleMania, so it's pretty much the same thing as what the women are doing right now.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Daniel Bryan somehow retains at Fastlane against not Kofi, Kevin Owens. I think we do get Kofi versus Daniel one-on-one at WrestleMania, and my boy Kofi Kingston walks out WWE champion.
I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what Kofi can do with the little run. Maybe Daniel Bryan gets it back a month or two later. If Kofi does catch fire and he becomes the hottest thing, you run with it.
Because they could play up the story of Kofi saying, "I beat you twice," and then Daniel can say, "I beat you once, but I beat you when it really mattered for the title." So they could play that out, and then they can have like a New Day versus him and Rowan. Daniel can score a win over Kofi, and then they're quote-unquote tied, so to speak, and then the rubber match is at Mania.
I think it's going to be a triple threat match because, Kevin Owens comes back. He originally was supposed to be against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. He gets inserted into this match. I think something happens to where he gets kind of screwed or he loses the match. And I don't know what they're going to do with the whole link between Vince and Kevin Owens. They kind of alluded to it that he did headbutt them, so why would Vince be in favor of throwing Kevin Owens into this match? Kevin Owens, as I said, he's a babyface, it seems, right now. So.
You have to remember, Austin tortured McMahon for years, and then he shook his hand at WrestleMania 17.
Because business is business.
Exactly. This is business.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that this is, Remember when Vince wanted AJ to hit him, show me that pit bull like style, and he did, and Vince was like, "I like that." Kevin Owens headbutted him and made him bleed. He's like, "God damn it, I like it."
Oh, is that why Kayla called AJ a pit bull on the Smackdown? I've never heard anybody call him a pit bull before.
You've never heard that?
I've never.
I remember when Morrow was on a SmackDown commentary, he called him the quintessential Georgia pit bull.
Well, I would have thought it would have been a Georgia Bulldog. Because Georgia Bulldogs, football team, college, but whatever.
Yeah. Really never heard that?
I have, and I tune out the announcers a lot. So
Oh, that's the best part.
I listen to Mauro Ranallo, but most of the other people, Michael Cole and Tom Phillips are pretty much interchangeable.
Nah, I don't think so. Tom Phillips can't say the big dog.
And it's boss time.
It's boss. I can't do that one.
Yes, because every time he says it, Sasha Banks loses like 10 cool points every time she comes out. I think she's working on negative cool points.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Anyway, the Bar, they have a match and they lose to the Hardy Boys. Matt Hardy's back?
Yeah, Charlotte Boys coming home, getting a nice ovation.
I was shocked.
From the North Carolina crowd. He was kind of just WWE Matt Hardy playing both Hardy Boys / broken Matt Hardy. So, I mean, good for them coming back. Bray Wyatt on Twitter lurking, possibly coming back eventually. So who knows what exactly Matt Hardy's going to be doing in the future.
I don't know, man. It was cool to see the Hardy Boys back. Matt looked pretty good. He really did. Looked a little more lean. Maybe he's doing DDPY. We don't know.
Maybe.
We shall see.
Rebby Hardy's been working him out.
All right, so R-Truth, the current United States champion.
Who I forgot about.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you did that. In truth we trust.
Well, it's not like I forgot about R-Truth. I just forgot he was a U.S. champion.
This is the United States Truth, Brandon. God. Truth 2020.
Alright.
Anyway, he and Carmella, because, she is money, the gatekeeper of Gucci. They're out there. R-Truth says one of his idols is John Cena, even though Truth is like 4 or 5 years older than John Cena. It said he wants to bring back the U.S. Open Challenge. After a quick dance break, they do the dance break. Andrade Cien Almas comes out.
It's Andrade.
I'm going to keep the whole name here on this show.
Okay.
Yep. Comes out with Selena Vega. Rey Mysterio attacks Almas, and then Truth is like, what would Cena do? So he gets both of them in a triple threat. Nice exchanges between Almas and Mysterio. Truth comes out with the win by pinning the Master of the 619 to keep his U.S. title.
I mean, I thought it was good performance from Truth. I thought he was entertaining. He was kind of his usual kind of, stupid self, but I thought he was playing it up for laughs, and it wasn't as dumb as he usually was. I thought it was fun, and if R-Truth is gonna cosplay John Cena, I'm all for it.
Yeah, he even did the Final Quick Shuffle. That was fun. So it's gonna be interesting to see where we move from there. All right, Charlotte comes out for a promo. She was really good in this. I think Charlotte's her heel prime was 2016 in those matches against Sasha, but this mic work on Tuesday was exquisite. She says how she's gonna show up on Raw and she's gonna be awarded the Raw Women's title. What are your thoughts on that?
It was a good promo. It wasn't one of her best promos. I think the promos she's been cutting like the last 2-3 weeks, like ever since the Royal Rumble, have been really, really good. But this one, I'm not going to say it was as good as the other ones. Like the one she had last week backstage with the interviewer in front of the TV screen or whatever. I thought that was really good. This one was fine. No mention of Ric Flair, no mention of what happened, which might be just because they don't want to put sympathy on her or whatever. But then she also kind of like the last time they were together, didn't she kind of break up with him? So they haven't like made amends on WWE TV yet. So she could still, you could play it up to where you have some sort of like blending of the lines of Batista and Charlotte against, Stephanie and Hunter.
They've made amends on TV. It was after his health scare on SmackDown. He came out and hugged her or whatever.
Okay. She we were there in Oakland when she kind of gave an update or something.
Yeah. I remember that. I forgot about
it. And we all thought Rick was coming out, and he didn't.
Slick Rick. I would have popped to see Ric Flair. Love Ric Flair, man. Alright, Aleister Black and Ricochet defeat Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. Oh my god. Kinshasa was going to be hit, but then that black mass. Whew, that was a great spot. I loved it. Loved everything about it. Thoughts?
Good match. Ricochet and Black go over as they should. Kind of just two singles, or I guess 4 singles people thrown together in a tag team, which I am not against. So, I can't say that they should all be singles competitors when I've said in the past that I wish people did this more often.
Yes. All right, AJ Styles is backstage, and I want to say about the announcers, it's different this time. It's not just, and now my guest at this time, the phenomenal AJ Styles. AJ, what do you think about your match tonight against Andrade? It's different, like they're digging for dirt,
Yeah, Kayla and Charlie have been a little feisty lately.
Shout out Charlie. Shout out Kayla.
Shout out Kathy Kelly.
Oh, yes, of course.
Dasha Fuentes.
Shout out. Follow her on Instagram. Great follow.
Otis Dojovic. Best follow on Instagram for a wrestler.
I don't know about all that.
He basically just posts videos of him eating the entire time, and it's amazing.
I think John Cena is the best Instagram follow.
Nah.
Wow. No love for Big Match John?
I think Lana's a good follow, too. A lot of Instagram live videos.
Scarlet Bordeaux.
Amen.
That's the one. Anyway, yeah. So AJ's cutting a promo. Then Orton shows up, says some stuff, walks away. Thoughts?
Simple, but as I said, maybe a triple threat match. But maybe we're gonna get at Fastlane, not exactly verbatim, but the winner of an AJ Styles Randy Orton match gets inserted into this triple threat, and now it's gonna be a fatal 4-way. So we're gonna get, let's say,
fatal 4-way. McMahon in every corner.
Well, I mean, I questioned it a couple weeks ago, so maybe we might get on. We're not going to get on Raw. Maybe we get on SmackDown.
Hey, there we go. I'm all for it. Vince is in KO's corner. Shane is in AJ's corner. Hunter in Orton's corner. Stephanie in Daniel's corner.
Linda in Daniel's corner. Because we all know the Trump administration is all about conservation.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, the main event is Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston defeating Rowan and Daniel Bryan. KO with a nice stunner.
Yeah, I mean, if it is going to be part of his repertoire,
dude, just make that the finish.
I mean, yeah, I'm not against it. If it is a finish, if he protects it, I'm perfectly fine with that. If he gets, I mean, he kind of did get the blessing from Stone Cold on Twitter.
Yep.
But I'm not a big fan of Daniel Bryan eating all these losses. I thought Rowan's there for a reason. Rowan's there to protect him. Why is Daniel losing all these times to these guys? I know, you gotta Kofi beats Bryan, KO beats Bryan to show him that he can be beat to give him credibility, but yet it's kind of like the Revival. They just keep losing, and over a period of time, you just expect them to lose, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a run where Punk was that 434 reign. He lost like 6 weeks in a row.
And we all know how great of a run that was.
It was great. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites of all time. All right, Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got? I'm giving it to Kevin Owens. Congratulations on being back. You got Finn. Now you're in the WWE title match.
I'll go with Batista. I really liked what Batista did. It was Ric Flair's 70th birthday, and of course Triple H was able to make it about himself. But I thought Batista was great.
How dare you?
I know. I thought Batista was great. It was just a quick little, whatever it was, a 2-minute, 3-minute segment, but I thought everything was fantastic.
Ric Flair will be at a StarCast.
Mm-hmm. And, shout out to Roman Reigns.
Of course, shout out to Roman Reigns, I think he's everybody's Superstar Spotlight. Hopefully, get Ric Flair to sign my WWE Encyclopedia.
I have a beautiful the iconic blue robe that he wore at WrestleMania, whatever it was, 24 with the fireworks in the background. One of those most iconic photos. It was either that or a bloody one of him holding the NWA title, and I picked that one instead. Can't wait for the Undertaker. Probably going to get him to sign the other side of the Undertaker. Shawn Michaels.
Meet the Undertaker. That's exciting.
It's probably going to cost an arm and a leg, but
it's once in a lifetime.
It's going to be $300, but whatever.
For a signature?
Probably.
I highly doubt that.
I mean, you got to make up that $60,000 somehow.
I highly doubt that. We'll see. All right, so promo pick of the week, Nation of Domination, Raw, August 18th, 1997. It's kind of like the formation of them. The Rock speaks, Farouk speaks. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, this is early Nation action, really Black Power, Black Panther type vibes here. But they're heels, so it also kind of makes it a little awkward that, these black guys are going out there trying to say that, everybody's against us and everyone's racist. And
they are.
But then they're playing it up for heel heat. But anyways.
They were just talking about Chick-fil-A, guys. Go get that spicy chicken sandwich. You can really taste the racism and homophobia.
But damn it, it's good. I get the spicy chicken all the time.
Wow. You said, damn it, it's good?
It is.
That taste of racism is good?
It tastes good. I might not feel very good after the fact. It's almost kind of like, some really good Mexican food.
Oh.
It tastes good in the moment, but after the fact, you're paying the price for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Close match pick of the week, AR Fox versus UHA Nation, a.k.a. Apollo Crews. Absolute Intense Wrestling 2011. Brandon, take it away.
Well, you kind of just stole my thunder by saying everything. So this is the last week of Black History Month, so I decided we've been doing a lot of past people. Might as well do some present people. On second thought, I might have been able to do a Keith Lee match, but I decided to do AR Fox against UHA Nation. Obviously, Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews, someone that I've touted that he could be used a lot better in WWE.
Like WWE tout?
Shout out tout. Daniel Bryan is the king of tout. And this is from AIW from 2011. The match, it's alright. It's basically a spot fest for like sub 10 minutes. The mat was like hot garbage. It looked like it was just a freaking garbage bag. And there was like less than 200 people. They were all going crazy. It wasn't that great of a match, but it's just, fun to see. Go to an indie show. You see somebody, maybe these guys were trying, I think, a little too hard for the crowd that they were in front of, but that's also kind of the love of indie wrestling and just the what you might see. You might see some people, like I saw these guys at an Evolve show. I mean, obviously, if you see these matches in Evolve, CZW, or PWG are probably a lot better than what this match is, but on for what it is on YouTube. It's a really good match. And support indie wrestling, and maybe one day you'll see somebody wrestling in a church, one day wrestling in WWE.
Yes.
Like, I mean, when I went to the Evolve show, they were wrestling in a county fair, and it was like Ricochet and Apollo Crews and Johnny Gargano, Drew McIntyre, like a bunch of people that are in WWE now were wrestling, 3 days before on a Thursday in a county barn for Evolve.
What was that, WrestleMania weekend?
Yep.
All right.
It was a Thursday.
Oh, all right. All right, follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram, The BulletCast, YouTube channel, The BulletCast. Email us, BulletCast2 is in the number 2, sweet, SWET at gmail.com. 99.9 FM, KW in Watsonville every Friday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We're all over the damn place. Thank you guys for listening. Brandon, thanks for being on once again. We're doing the damn thing, huh? Get there, guy?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to make a special announcement. Next week is the first show we're going to be doing in March, and next week will be the return of Mania Madness. I didn't tell you this, but I think next week we're going to start. Last year we did the best WrestleMania of all time. I think this year we're going to do the best WrestleMania match of all time. So I'm going to go through all the Observer ratings and check out the 32 best WrestleMania matches.
Dave?
Well, I mean, it's a good starter. If there's some other ones I think that might be better, I might throw them in there.
Bruce Prichard hates Dave Meltzer.
He hates everybody. But next
Bruce
week,
Prichard loves
we
me.
will start the first round of the Mania March Madness.
Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, might have to get special guests on for that throughout the coming weeks.
Possibly.
We shall see.
And maybe we put it up on Instagram. If there's any ties, you guys can settle the debate if it's just us two.
Oh, of course. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the BulletCast. Ta-ta for now.
This has been the BulletCast. Thank you for listening.